Okay, I have one. Anyone from the audience? I'll take your sister's question. If the lady in the green could just.
I'm a Muslim, there are sects of Islam, but all Muslims have the same Quran, which God himself has promised to keep the same till the last day. So I'm wondering how it got changed and why God didn't stop that.
I appreciate the question. Now this is up to the speaker if he accepts the question, because the topics are actually pertaining to Jesus.
Yes, it's in context of Christ being the Son of God.
Okay.
So if there's different versions, how can you prove
Okay.
something's actually changed? How can you
Okay.
prove that?
Thank you.
Correction, I didn't say mine is the only Bible. I said, as Christians, this is our authority. I said the Bible is our authority. Okay. Now, I'll explain to you why there are so many different versions of the English Bible. Now, I don't know about, most people here probably come from a different country, not England. And you'll notice that you've got a very rich language. Very rich language. My parents come from Ghana. I speak Twi. It's an Ashanti language. It's very, very rich. When they translated the Bible into Ashanti, it stayed that way to this day. English language is very rigid. I read the Quran from time to time. And there's one thing I've noticed about it. I read the Quran and I notice that they've left out some words have been. So when you read a sentence, and sometimes it's like you're reading broken English. And what I've noticed is they haven't put in words to help understand the sentence. So I have grown to understand that if I read it that way, this is what it means. So I can understand what you're saying. You're saying that the Quran has been kept that way. Because the English language is very, very rigid, it is. What they do is, when they're translating it, they put words in to help understand the verse. Now, if you get yourself, let's say, New King James Bible, it will show you, most of the modern Bibles will show you that where they put words in, it's in a different format or it's in a different print to help understand that this was just put in there so that the sentence will make sense. So I've got a Bible at home, a different version of the Bible, same English, but it's taken out all those little words that are in there. So it reads like broken English. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So there are so many different versions of the Bible, modern English versions, but all these versions go back to the same source. I want to talk quickly about the authenticity of the Bible. First thing is this. These books written in there have been taken and put in there by God. People don't believe that because the Bible talks about itself. The reason we can say that boldly is because, as Brother Abdul said over here, the Gospel of Peter, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Judas, the Gospel of this, they've all come up in the first 100 years of the Bible, of the church. There were so many letters written that it got confusing. But the original ones that were written, Matthew, Mark, those were two key ones that were written very early. And those have been added in here. People, or the authentic ones, are the ones that have been put in. I don't care what comes afterwards. I'll tell you why I don't. Because if I worry about what's coming in afterwards and what people have discovered and unearthed, it could be from anywhere. This Bible has got the power. And I'm not saying this version. I have a Greek Bible at home. I have a Hebrew Bible at home. I do my study. I work through the Bible. And I have chased, I was not born a Christian. I have chased the New Testament, trying to figure out why it's authentic. That's why when I started talking about Jesus, I went from the new to the old. I said, this is what it says about Jesus in the old, this is what it says in the law about Jesus. Moses turned around in Deuteronomy 18:15. He said, listen, I want you to listen to me. God is going to send a prophet just like me. It's him you listen to. That was Jesus. Again, in Acts chapter 3, verse 20. Sorry, I'm using quotations. Same thing, same quotation. Funny enough, the book of Acts wasn't written by Hebrew. It was written by a Gentile, a Greek. Luke. But I don't know if that answers your question.
I was just wondering, isn't it a bit like Chinese whispers then, when something keeps getting changed around from language to language?
Okay, I'll come to that afterwards because I think we've got so many questions that will come to that.
Let's be on the topic as a crucifixion of Jesus. I'm sorry, I'm not good in English, but my question is directed to
I'm sorry, you're going to have to sit down because I did say the questions right now has to be directed to Brother Abdul.
on the topic in which answer you asked.
I'll make just one exception.
If we see from the history that Muslims and Christians believe in the prophets who came before Jesus and before Prophet Muhammad, all you believe on them. So if we take the example of Noah, he was like when his followers did not follow what he taught them, so God sent the floods and destroyed them all except those who believed. Then at the time of like Prophet Yunus, he was in the stomach of whale, but God saved him. And the same is true with many of them. So how can you believe that like God cannot save his own son from crucifixion?
Okay, a quick question is, if God has a son, why can't he save his own son from crucifixion? Thank you very much.
No, it's not.
It can only be a one-part question, I'm very sorry. Brother, I have so much, please, bear with me, please.
Why God has to, when he has saved his prophets, why he has to sacrifice his own son for the evil?
Which question would you like? The first one would be that. Okay, I'm going to request the speakers to give 2 lines. I'll give, if the question was initially directed to Brother Abdul Rahim Green, and you can make a comment to it. Go on.
Okay, now this is the truth. This is the honest truth. God could save Jesus. He could have saved him if he wanted to. But you see, as I said, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. What God did. See, our sin could not be cleansed by any animal. Nothing could cleanse that sin. For years, thousands of years, people were sacrificing animals. The Jews did it. Other religions did it. But you see, the only thing that can wipe away the sin of man is if man made a sacrifice. But there was no one pure enough. That's why Jesus was born. Jesus was born as a man. But you see, with purity, without sin. He had to be a lamb without sin, to be sacrificed, to pay the price, so that we do not go through eternal damnation.
Would you like to make a comment?
Okay, brothers and sisters, I have to tell you, this meeting is going exactly the way I didn't want it to go. I'll be honest. I don't like these type of things. For the reason is that they just end up being a type of pointless, point-scoring exercise. So why don't we just pick up our chairs and start beating each other up and, get it over and done with, Come on, guys. You know what, I've got a suggestion. Let's try and think different. Look, Christians and Muslims have some differences that are so big, we are not going to even begin to touch upon dealing with these differences in a meeting like this. I mean, I've been sitting here, what Kofi said, I would really love to respond to it. Okay, in detail, but I'm holding myself back because I didn't want this event to turn into a type of Muslim, Christian, verbal boxing match, all right? Because if you want to see those, you can go, you can get the Zakir Naik debates, you can get the Ahmed Didat debates, you can get them all on tape, you can see plenty of those, and these people have dealt with it, bigger scholars than me and Kofi. dealt with it better. So I got a suggestion.